You guys mentioned out there about the Ravens are saying, do they need secondary help? Or is there just some things inside that can be corrected because of communication? And that's actually what Chuck Pagano, former Ravens defensive coordinator and former NFL head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, he was on the Pat McAfee Show talking about how he believes what the Ravens have is a lot of talent and things can be fixed. Well, let's play the video for you guys.
Try not to be incredibly biased when I ask you this. The Ravens look really, 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 really good. Okay, offense is setting historical numbers right now. Is there anything that can stop them from going to the Super Bowl at this point?
Hard pressed to find. You just mentioned it. I mean, that offense, Lamar, those guys are rolling. Derrick Henry, special teams. It looks like Tucker's figured things out, right? Defensively, one worry, all right? Pass defense. Like, you cannot run the football in this group. They're number one in the league right now as far as, the run defense goes. But pass defense right now, they're 32nd in the league. They've had some communication issues. They've given up 34 plus 20 passes. That's dead last in the National Football League.
Jeez.
14 touchdowns, which ranks 29th in the National Football League right now. So they've got a new signal caller in Zach Orr. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. They lost 3 coaches, right? Mike McDonald went to Seattle. He's having success there in his first year as a rookie head coach. All right. The guy Weaver went down to Miami. He was the D-line coach, big part of that defense from a year ago. And Denard Wilson's at Tennessee. And Tennessee's kicking ass on defense. So they lost a lot of good coaches. They've got new coaches in there. Sometimes this takes time. But you can see there's some plays that from a communicate, like too easy. T. Higgins making that play. Here they're in split safety defense, and we got a guy, running free. These are all correctable things, but they better get them corrected in a hurry.
Yeah, maybe it just takes a little time to find your voice on the defensive side. Hopefully they'll be able to do that because this Ravens team's must-watch.
Filthy.
But maybe they're must-watch because they're giving up so many explosive plays, too. It's like, it's a fun time with Baltimore.
Overs.
But the fourth quarters, seemingly for that Baltimore defense, have been kind of like, we're over. It's not over yet.
No.
And then they creep back in. A couple of those plays, obviously, in that situation.
So right there, first off, so you hear Chuck Pagano saying this Ravens team, it's hard pressed. But if the one thing that has been the Achilles heel that a lot of Ravens fans have watched, it has been the explosive plays the defense has allowed. Specifically, the passing game, passing defense, numbers-wise, they haven't been good. And part of that is going to be when you have leads, teams are going to have to pass a lot. But the problem has been, and I'm glad that Chuck Pagano brought it up, guys, watching some of those videos, and this is something that we've talked about for weeks, it's on some of these big plays, it is just a huge breakdown of miscommunication. The Rachaad White touchdown was a miscommunication on who was covering him coming out of the backfield. On some of the plays with the Bengals before the half with Jamar Chase, the big play over top, there was a miscommunication on who's covering the deep part of it. Kyle Hamilton in the first game even said, hey, my bad, I messed up on the coverage. That was a blown assignment that Xavier Worthy scored the easy touchdown. So the point that we're hearing is a lot of miscommunications. And the other part that it can't be undermined, the Ravens did lose a lot of great football minds to different opportunities. And that does matter for a first-time defensive coordinator. But I think what's evident here, you got to communicate better on the field. But what is that? Is that, to me, that doesn't seem like a talent issue. But after a while, when do the miscommunications get fixed? Because if they don't, the results are going to stay the same. And that is something that Baltimore can't afford here as we move into the later months, because those moments could come back to bite them.
Yeah, and I think Chuck nailed it. These are all fixable. A majority is just miscommunication. And the way that I feel like you can tell it's miscommunication is these big plays. It's very rare that you're like, oh, great play by the quarterback and receiver. Like just a great, good coverage, whatever. They just beat him. On so many of these, it's guys wide open. It's not, oh, made a good play. It's who the heck was supposed to be covering him. There's Rachaad White one. Nobody on that side of the field. The Xavier Worthy one, obviously Kyle Hamilton made to that one later. No one close to him. Jamar Chase, no one covering over the top. It's those moments where you're like, when the talent is communicating, the Ravens have proven that they've got some guys back there. I know Marcus Williams is not playing good ball, but as Brad said, Marlon Humphrey's playing great. Brandon Stevens, if he could ever get his head around, would probably be a top 3 corner in this league. Kyle Hamilton's Kyle Hamilton. There's never going to be a question about his talent. But you got to get the communication down. And like you said, Rip, and like Chuck was saying, yeah, it's still semi-early enough into Zach Orr's tenure where you're like, okay, miscommunications are going to happen. It's got to be fixed. But we are running out of time we're halfway through the season pretty much of, hey, these can't be, we just had miscommunications, because come November, come December, come January, come February, hopefully, miscommunications is the difference between you hoisting a Lombardi and you're sitting home on the couch saying, how do we get there?